Cupcakes, a juicy collection of essays. I wrote Sex and Cupcakes because I've been writing about sex for 15 years, maybe more, and I wanted to showcase kind of a little bit about what I'm about and what I think about different things, and I wanted it to be sort of an introduction to my life, how I went from going to law school to being a sex writer, and a little bit about my politics. I kind of wanted to cover a bit of everything, but also make it something that people could read even if they don't usually read sex books. So I tell people it's really personal, but it's not super graphic. You will find out a little bit about my sex life, but there's not naked photos. Those are on the internet. There's not anything too crazy, but there's a little craziness. Well, Cupcakes come in. I've been writing about cupcakes for 10 years. I started the blog Cupcakes Take the Cake in 2004, and that I really did almost as a reaction to writing about sex. I was interested in cupcakes, and I just thought, okay, I'm going to start a blog, not knowing that cupcakes would then get super huge and be everywhere, and that I would go eat cupcakes in 26 states and 4 countries and do all kinds of crazy things in the name of cupcakes. And I'm really grateful, though, that I did it, because it introduced me to this whole other world and people I never would have met just from writing about sex. There's sort of two things, because I think that you hear about sex probably often for the first time outside of yourself, like your own sexual feelings. You hear about it from other kids or TV. So I think I would tell them that it's something people do that's pleasurable and enjoyable, and that's why they should do it when they eventually choose to do it, because they want to, not because someone's pressuring them to, or they want to be cool. There was definitely a point in high school, I was a virgin when I graduated high school, I wanted to have sex to be cool, and because all my friends were doing it, probably more than I actually just wanted to do it. I probably write the best erotica when my sex life is going really well, or when it's unusual, like when something a little crazy happens, I'll write about it. And sometimes some of the stories I've written that are my favorites are actually kind of dark and a little bit depressing, but they're also sexy, and they're about breakups, or they're about sort of moments where things aren't going so perfectly. But I think that's where the drama of life is. And to me, if you can find the eroticism of those less happy times, then, and you can move people, people have told me they've cried over this story I wrote called The End, then I've done a good job. So both, I guess. Both the good times and the less good times. There's nothing I would categorically not share. There's definitely things about my life I haven't written about because I'm embarrassed about them, but those are almost never things about sex. Well, I'm working on writing about hoarding and being a hoarder, and I've written about that, but I had to hire a trash removal service when I moved from Williamsburg after 13 years, and it was embarrassing to be paying people hundreds of dollars to move all my stuff out of my home. Like, that's embarrassing to me because it feels really wasteful. Like, it looks like, oh, you're so materialistic that you can throw out your garbage. So I've been trying to write about it for months and months, and it's hard. I think if I was going to write an adult film, it would probably be called, see, now I'm embarrassed. It would probably be called Blowjob Queen. I really like giving blowjobs. Like, I'm not embarrassed about that, but I don't usually have a conversation where I say, hey, guess what? I really like giving blowjobs. Usually it just, if I'm in bed with someone, they'll find that out. So, but yeah, I would write that movie. So porn producers, if you want me to write that movie, I'm available. I think over-the-knee spanking is really good to write about because there's all these questions, like, how did the people get there, and why are they doing it, and, what is that like? And I think if you're bent over someone's knee or someone's bent over your knee, you can't really pretend, oh, we just fell into that position, you know, and our bodies just, you know, happen to come out like that. I like bondage, I guess, someone tied to a bed or someone tied to something else, because then there's all this, you know, what are you going to do with that person, or what are they going to do while they're tied up? I think there's a lot you can play with that. I know this isn't really a sex position, but I like things where you're maybe in public or you're somewhere that's not like the bedroom, and you're doing something that to you is sexual, but that to someone else might not be sexual. Like maybe someone's touching the back of your neck, but they know that that's like a special spot, or they're holding your hand, but they're like playing with your hand, or they're telling you something that on the surface sounds very casual and normal, but really is the code word for, you know, go in the bathroom and take off your panties or something. I would love to write more about food, not necessarily as a food critic, but just as someone who goes and tries crazy foods. Like I wrote about the Minnesota State Fair, and I basically walked around for 3 days and ate all sorts of fried foods. So or participate in some sort of spicy eating contest or things like that. I think things where I would be forced to eat foods that I wouldn't normally eat on my own. Although I have eaten a grasshopper, and it was on a cupcake, and it was really crunchy and salty. It was weird. I was judging a cupcake contest in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you could have opted out of it, but, you know, like all the judges were given this special cupcake, and not only was there a grasshopper on top of it, there was grasshopper baked into the cupcake. And that is one of the craziest things I've done in the name of cupcakes.